What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode. Welcome to the World Sports Podcast. I'm your boy John, along with my fellas Braxton Brown and Eddie Lewis III. How y'all doing today, fellas?
Man, feeling good, man. Back in the city, man. I feel immaculate.
Back in Summerwood, huh?
Here you go. No, Houston, baby. See it? Come on now.
All right, man. We're going to get right into it, man. Monday Night Football reaction, as we always do. The Niners dominated the Colts, at least on the scoreboard. I think it was like 47-28 or vice versa. Man, what was y'all thoughts on that game, man? Or how it went.
Y'all already know how I feel about Brock Purdy, man. And he's not a top quarterback in this league, but I do give credit when credit is due, and he did play one of his better games of his career yesterday. Even though it wasn't spectacular in my eyes, he was a true professional and he got the job done. 5 touchdowns, and he had an interception as well. We could throw that in there, just not to leave anything out. So, shout out to him. Just being a true professional and giving the ball to Chris McCaffrey when he was open on the route, and he just doing what a quarterback should do: get the ball to your receivers when they open in timely matter, so they can just catch the ball. Do what they do. So. Shout out to Brock Purdy, I guess. They look good, but it was against a Colts defense that do not look the same as it did at the beginning of the season. And they're playing Phillip Rivers. He didn't play bad, but it's his second game, and he's back in the league. Since 5 years plus. So, I don't put too much into it. The Colts might be looking out of the playoffs right now, but the 49ers do look good.
Yeah, I would say they look pretty decent. I didn't expect Purdy to look that good, especially throwing 5 touchdowns. But that's a Monday Night Football record, so you got to give him credit. Shout out to him. And with the Colts, I guess, like I said, I'm not really mad at them losing games at this point of the season. Like, no matter what, it just has to happen that way for my Texans. So, like, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with them losing games. Phillip Rivers, he did a pretty decent job coming out on their earlier drives and scoring touchdowns. He's doing enough, but like at the end of the day, I don't think he's going to elevate them. So I think that's going to be their issue moving forward and something that they have to address. But it's yet to be seen, and we're gonna have to see what happens moving forward.
Yeah, I agree. San Francisco did look good. I agree with Eddie. The Colts defense doesn't look like the same defense from the beginning of the year. Brock Purdy had a good game, though. Kittle and Jawan Jennings and Demarcus Robinson, they came up big for him, and Christian McCaffrey did Christian McCaffrey things. So it's nothing that we're not used to seeing from the 49ers, But as far as the Colts, like Brax said, I don't feel like Phillip Rivers moves the needle for him. I feel like he just plays well enough to keep them in games. I was really impressed with him last night, though, being in his second start, the way he had commanded the offense and kind of was able to push the ball down the field at his age was pretty impressive to me. So especially after, being 5 years out of the game. But like Brax said, I don't really feel like he's going to elevate them into being a playoff team, and I really think that they're going to miss the playoffs because, of what happened to Daniel Jones, which is tragic. Not for y'all, but tragic for them for sure. But if y'all ain't got nothing else to say, man, we're gonna move on. The Seahawks and the Bears made crazy overtime comebacks against the Rams and the Packers, man. 2 divisional games in Week 16, man. What were y'all take away from these games? Did y'all think it was possible that the Seahawks or the Bears were gonna come away with the win?
For me personally, I think the Seahawks one was more impressive just because they were playing lights out. The Rams were playing lights out, and in the second half, I don't know what happened with the coach told them, and they just came to play and they just got it done. In the end result, even Matt Stafford had a great game. Puka went crazy, which the Seahawks just found a way to win. Sam Darnold, he didn't play a great game, but in the second half, he just he managed to get the job done. Be a professional just like Brock Purdy. So, shout out to the Seahawks, but that was more impressive to me. With the Bears, I like the Bears, but I think the Packers just gave this one, just gave it to them, especially when Jordan Love going down. Malik Willis came in, he did a great job, but they had them turnovers to get them the ball back, and then they didn't get the they got the onside kick, which they said that was like an 8% chance on the broadcast of people getting it this year, and they didn't tighten up what they need to. So to close out the game, they opened the door and the Bears closed it. So yeah, I was definitely surprised about that, but I wasn't too high on the Packers anyway. But the Bears are getting a little hot, man. Going to the playoffs, what they 11-4? That's pretty impressive. So I think we need to give them their credit bit in the playoffs. That's all that matters. So we got to see what to do in playoffs.
Yeah, those wins were definitely impressive. I think I would have to go with the Bears comeback for sure, being the most impressive one. Just for the simple fact of how that last play went. I mean, I feel like, man, that was a beautiful ball by Caleb Williams, and for them to come down with, for him, the receiver to come down with that, but he had took a big hit by one of the Packers, the DBs, and then to come back and make that catch on him at the end of the game, like that's just like kind of poetic. So shout out to them. I was impressed by the Seahawks win, although I feel like it did take a little bit of help with that 2-point conversion call. Man, that was just one of the craziest calls I've ever seen. So, but shout out to them though. They've been playing well, and I never thought that they would be this good this far into the season. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to go with Eddie. I will say that I was most impressed by the Seahawks, just in the nature of which they were down. Like they were down, I think 2 scores, maybe 3 at one point, and and then everything just had to go right for them. They got a punt return touchdown by Rashid Shaheed. Shout out to him, former Saint man. But and then that Bryce mentioned it, the 2-point conversion. And like Eddie said, Sam Darnold didn't play well, but he found a way to will his team to a victory, which I'm kind of happy for him because I know that got to feel like a monkey off his back because going into the game, all he heard was Sam Darnold never plays good against the Rams. Like he's been this great quarterback over the last 2 years, but when it's time to face the Rams, he always folds. And he did throw I think a pick 6 in that game, but he bounced back from it in a good way, and he was able to lead his team to victory. And they just won all 3 of the phases of the game, won that game for them. So that's why I would say it was most impressive. As far as the Bears, man, I do think that was an impressive win as well. But I think they had a little help with Jordan Love going down, even though, like Eddie said, Malik, I was about to say Malik Neighbors. Malik Willis played good, And as far as the Bears as an overall team, I still feel like they're a playoff team this year, but I feel like they're a year away from being actual Super Bowl contenders. Like I don't feel like they're gonna be able to get it done this year. Just being how heavy the NFC is with 3 teams possibly coming out the NFC West with the Niners, the Rams, and the Seahawks, and then you still got to think about the Packers are there, the Eagles are there. So I still think they're a year away, but Caleb has been playing good ball, so I'm excited to see how he progresses with Ben Johnson for sure.
Yeah.
But moving on, man, Bryce Young and the Panthers beat the Buccaneers to claim first place in the NFC South, man. Eddie, man, what's your thoughts on the Panthers this season? It looks like the ride wave has been helping out Bryce Young, huh?
Hey man, you took the words out of my mouth, bro. I guess ever since Rod Wade made that call, Bryce Young just figured it out, bro. And I reached out and I was like, bro, like we have to give the Panthers their flowers, bro. Like I never expected them to be in this position. It was like to make the playoffs, and now they first in the division, and that's John division, bro. So that's he's seen a lot of that. So it's been a long time since we've seen a good Panthers team. So I'm happy for Bryce. He's balling, bro. I just gotta give him credit. He's balling right now. I'm hoping he keeps it going. They got a good group of guys, and they don't got like a all-star studded team, but they have a good group of guys on the defense. They all right to the ball. They got a couple guys just crazy, J.C. Horn, and them guys back there with him, bro. So the Panthers, they found a ways to win, bro. So I'm happy to see. Just hope that they continue to grow, and we'll see what they do in playoffs. They don't got the experience, but anybody in play, any given Sunday, any given game, anything can happen. So I'm excited to see.
I'm gonna be real. The Panthers, like I am impressed, but it's funny with them because one week they'll like do something good that you did not expect them to do, and then the next week like they may lay an egg, and you're like, like I'm no disrespect to the Saints, John, but like I didn't expect them to lose that game. That was a game that they really needed. So like my biggest thing with them moving forward is consistency. Yes, that was a good win against a pretty decent team, a team that has fallen off, from the start of the season. But I think like if they can continue to stack these wins together, that's when I'm really gonna be like, okay, yeah, like I'll give them credit for real. But right now, I'm just yet to see that consistency from them. So I mean, that's what I'm judging it off of.
Yeah, man. They're a division opponent, so I ain't gonna give them too much credit. I mean, albeit Tyler Shuck did beat them twice. We swept them this year. But as far as they go, like they're first place in the NFC South right now, but they still not out the neck of the woods. They got to win at least one of these next two games, which I think this week they play against Seattle. I think they go to Seattle, if I'm not mistaken, and then they got to turn around and play the Buccaneers again. And you got to know that the Buccaneers gonna have revenge on their side. But like Bragg said, they just not consistent. Like they beat a good team one week and then they turn around and lay an egg against a bad team. In which I mean, in the playoffs, that them having experience beating those good teams could work out in their favor because you're gonna be playing only good teams in the playoffs, and they're gonna have a home game if they end up winning the division. So it could work out in their favor, but they got to be more consistent. At least finish these last two games out strong to kind of have people high on them going into the playoffs for sure.
Yeah, and one thing that I will say, like I have been impressed with Bryce Young's play. Like one of those plays he made, escaping the pocket and looking downfield, man. That's the stuff that when we was looking at him getting drafted, like those are the things that we were like, okay, man, he could really be doing something in the league. So it's gonna be interesting to see if he can keep that up. But I am proud of him, man. Maybe it was that call from Rod Wave, man. Maybe it was.
Yeah. Everything, man. Everybody need to tune in Raw Wave. Bryce, a fan of Raw Wave now from 2 years before I go. John been on Raw Wave, so
Hold on, I wouldn't say I'm a fan, but the concert that I went to was pretty nice.
Come on, bro. Miss Flowers.
Albeit, I know they're in the division, but I actually root for Bryce, man. I think he's a good quarterback, bro, and I want to see him succeed. So I'm happy that they kind of got a little winning season this year. But man, this game right here was crazy, bro. It came down to the end with a controversial ending, and we had a little action in the game from DK Metcalf, but the Steelers beat the Lions 29-24. Like I said, with a controversial ending at the end. Man, what was y'all thoughts on the ending, and what was y'all thoughts on that DK Metcalf incident with the fan?
I'm around a lot of Steelers fans a lot at work, bro, and I just hate seeing them win because when they like the Steelers fans are kind of like the Saints and the Cowboys, and they just so delusional, bro. So, I just I hate it, bro, because like when they win, I know I got to deal with them talking and just talking about they going if they go to the Super Bowl, they go win it all. It's just unrealistic expectations, bro. Aaron Rodgers, he's a Hall of Famer. He's doing just enough for them to win, and I'm a Mike Tomlin guy. I'm happy for him. Happy that, and it's crazy. Like they were just talking about firing him. Now talking about keeping him. And I hate that, bro. Like all you gotta do is win, and everybody shut up. That's all people care about. They don't care about nothing else but winning. No loyalty in this game, bro. Mike Tomlin did this. He's consistently having winning season, but they were just calling for his job a couple weeks ago. It's crazy, ain't it? And DK situation. I really don't care, bro. I get like the protection of the fans. Y'all know, hey, he must say some crazy stuff because people don't just go hitting people for no reason, bro. It had to be something crazy.
Hey, man, I was laughing when you were saying that stuff about people was just calling for his job because I was one of the main people on this podcast calling for his job. I really was on here saying, man, we need to fire Mike Tomlin and all that. How long we gonna accept just mediocre? But I feel like that was a good win against a team that's still trying to fight to get into the playoffs. So, that's stuff that you gotta, smile at and be like, okay, it's good for him. But I will say this though, I feel like Aaron Rodgers has been hooping as of late. He's been making plays, and with DK, I'm like on the both sides of this, because you're a fan, so this type of stuff that's going to irritate a player at that point in time. And I feel like they came there with that on their mind. Like, if I'm not mistaken, they had like a DK jersey or something like that, but then like they had on Lion stuff. Like they was literally trying to antagonize this dude before this whole thing even started. So I don't blame him, but I don't think it's gonna get overturned. But I don't know. That's just my thoughts on it. The ending, I wish they would have let it play out, just for the hype of it. But it was the right call at the end of the day. Like you can't push off like that. Although that call is missed a lot of times every week. But I will say
What
that was
about
a
the play before that?
pretty good inning. The play before that, I really wish that they didn't call a penalty on that, because that is like, it's a normal pick play. I know it's a pick play, but like, I ain't gonna lie, the receiver he kind of stopped a little bit. I think that's why they called it. Had he just went through smooth, I feel like they wouldn't have called it. But he kind of stopped a little bit, and that's why they called it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, as far as the ending goes, man. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a pass interference. Like Brack said, they sometimes they call it, sometimes they don't. In that instant, they decide to call it. I mean, it is a pass interference, so I mean, it was the right call on the field. I just didn't like how at the end they did this whole debacle where the refs met for like 3 minutes, and then it was like, all right, game over. Like, come on, man, you could have just said it's a pass interference and let it go on by their day. But as far as the DK incident, man, as players, you can't engage with the fans, bro. Especially not in that manner. Like, we seen earlier where Lamar Jackson pushed the fan, but that was kind of warranted because the fans put hands on him first. In this incident, DK went up to the fan, they talking, and then he shoved him in the face. And like Eddie said, I kind of don't agree with. Well, I agree with what you said, but I don't like the excuse that was made for him because, yeah, the fan probably said something for him to react that way because like people just don't react that way. But I ain't gonna let that slide with him because when I said the same thing about Jamar Chase spitting on Jalen Ramsey, you didn't really necessarily agree with that. So I can't really let that slide with DK. But I do feel like he's appealing the suspension. I do feel like they may drop it to a game. They may drop it to just one game suspension. But I mean, even if they drop it to a one-game suspension, it don't really mean nothing because if they win next week, they show up the division and he gonna sit in last week anyway. So I guess he's doing that for money purposes. But yeah, you can't be punching a fan, DK, man. That's not a good look, bro.
Accountability, John. I take that, bro. Accountability.
Here you go. Here you go.
All right, man. We're gonna talk about this NFL playoff picture. We're gonna look at the whole grand scheme of things, man. I think a couple of teams already punched their ticket. If I was looking correctly, thinking about it this morning, the NFC is gonna have 3 teams from the NFC West. The NFC is gonna have 1 team. The NFC South gonna have 1 team, and the NFC North probably gonna have 2 teams. And then in the AFC wise, I think the AFC East gonna have 2 teams. The AFC North gonna have 1 team. Whoever won that division. The AFC West gonna have 2 teams, and then the AFC South gonna have 2 teams. So it's pretty much set in stone right now. It's just all about who's gonna win the division and seeding. But man, Who are y'all contenders and who are y'all pretenders going into these playoffs, man?
I think who our contenders are, man. Since I've been in the building, Texas ain't never lost a game, bro. So. Shout out to the Texas, man. Shout out E3, man. Shout out CJ. Shout out Sting. Shout out the whole Texas defense. Shout out to Miko. I definitely think we are real contenders, bro. But I don't even want to talk too much about it because I don't want to jinx us, But I do think, we handle our business, bro. And it don't matter what we play at. And honestly, bro, I told Bryson a couple weeks ago I don't really care about winning the division because I knew the Colts and the Jaguars had a great start. So we playing catch up at this point. So I don't care what we play at, honestly, bro, because I'm confident in this defense and they'll go in the stadium, any stadium, and just take over the game and have their own fans booing them. So as long as we do what we need to do on offense, I feel like we have a great opportunity to win in every game. And right now we either are facing the Patriots, or I've seen a couple of scenarios we play the Jaguars, and one scenario we play the Steelers. I feel confident in any team in the AFC we play right now, so I'm feeling good, bro. Honestly, bro, I feel great. Now pretenders, just because they don't have no experience, I think Well, I still know who's going like between the Panthers and the Bucs. I think the Panthers might get it, but I don't, and I'm not scared of the Packers anymore because Mike is gone. The Bears they got to show me, they got to prove it, and then the Seahawks. I'm not a believer in Darnold. You know, Hurts and the Eagles they got experience, so I feel like in playoffs all they gotta do is win the game every week. But I like the Rams personally, but Devontae got to be on the field for them to win.
Before you go, Bryce, I'm just gonna rebut on a couple things. Oh man, I'm just gonna add a couple things to what Eddie said. Eddie, I do feel like the Panthers going in the NFC South just because the Bucs they falling apart in these last 3-4 weeks, and I do feel like if they don't make the playoffs, this probably gonna be Ty Bowles' last season as the head coach over there. And then as far as the Texans go, I do feel like y'all could beat any team. But I mean, I would have loved seeing y'all, win the division and have a home playoff game in the first round because y'all got a good atmosphere out there in Houston for sure. And y'all would have needed the Jags to possibly lose that game against Denver this weekend, and that really didn't go y'all way. But look like y'all gonna be on the road. But you go ahead, Brax. I just wanted to add.
Um, yeah, and that game that you're talking about, that Jaguars and Broncos game, I think it made me feel like the Broncos might be pretenders, bro. I ain't gonna lie. For you to lose to the Jags like that, and you trying to shore up, that number one seed and stuff like that, like they might be pretenders when it comes to moving forward. I mean, even games like I look at some of their losses, or not their losses, some of their wins. I mean, they was in dog fights, most of them, and even the game they had against the Texans, like it was close without CJ. Like, I mean, it just I don't know. I don't know if I believe in them. I believe in that defense, but that offense sometimes is a little shaky. So I'll say they pretenders. And the Jags, I mean, they kind of made me a believer after that win. So I don't know. I don't know. I think Jags might be decent this year. They ain't gonna beat us, but they gonna do something. Uh, as far as contenders, I would definitely put the Patriots up there. Definitely the Rams, and I'm still gonna have the Eagles for sure in there, despite all of the hoopla. I think that they still gonna be a good team moving forward.
Okay, so did y'all got swept by the Jaguars this year? Or y'all,
No.
Clearly,
all right. I just needed to refresh my memory, man.
I was in the building for that game as well when we came back from.
Yeah, I remember. I remember. Oh yeah, that was when they were in Houston, right? And y'all, all right, I got you. Brax, I do agree with you with the Broncos. Talking about how the offense is not consistent at times, and that could possibly be their downfall. But as far as the AFC goes, bro, I feel like there's no like elite team that we feel like is a true team that's gonna come out and could go to the Super Bowl like the Chiefs. You know what I'm saying? Like we accustomed to seeing from the Chiefs in the previous years. I'm not too real. I'm not too high on the Patriots, bro. I'm really not. I feel like, and I know it's not their fault. You got to play who's on your schedule, but they haven't really played great teams this year. They just got a good win against the Ravens. But Lamar got knocked out of that game. Nobody, ain't no telling how that would have went, especially being that the Ravens was up 2 scores, and then New England just found a way to come back and win that game. So I'm not really too high on them. I'm not really high. I'm still holding out on Jaguars. That was a good win that they had this week. But I think that they could be a good team. I think Trevor Lawrence is playing some of his best football right now, and the defense has been playing well. Who else? I think the Chargers are a scary team to watch out for. If they can protect Herbert, I feel like they got a real good chance of making some noise. It's a lot of good teams in the AFC, but it's not elite teams. And then I'm looking at the NFC. I think the Rams could possibly make a run if they got Devontae Adams, but like Eddie said, they need Devontae to go on that run because when it comes to playoff time, Pooh been getting his own in the regular season without Devontae, but when that playoffs hit, they gonna key in on him. I think that the Bears, I gotta see more from them. I'm not really high on them yet. And like y'all said, the Eagles, man, I feel like the Eagles, they started winning some more. They started winning again. I feel like they found their formula to winning games, and they kind of flying under the radar now, which is a good thing in their aspect. Because when the playoffs hit, I feel like they're the most experienced team that can go out there and get a dub. And also, like what I said, I don't really trust Sam Darnold being what we saw what he did in the playoffs last year and later eggs. So, man, the playoffs gonna be exciting. I feel like it'll go anyway this year, really and truly, especially in the AFC. And so I can't wait to watch it, man. We gonna see, man. Y'all see Houston, bro. Before we go, how do y'all feel about the offense? Like, do y'all feel like during this 6-game or 7-game winning streak, the offense has been playing better for Houston? Like, kind of, I ain't gonna say up to the level of the defense, but playing complementary football to help out the defense.
They definitely ain't been up to the level of defense, bro. You got the best defense in the league, so that's cool.
Yeah. But like, have they been playing complementary football? I know y'all had a tough one with the Raiders, but how you feel, man?
Hey, why you laughing though, bro? Like we won, right? That's all that matters.
It was the Raiders, though, bro. It was the Raiders.
I feel like it's the thing, like Jeff Van Gundy said. You wouldn't accept in victory what you wouldn't accept in defeat, and I think he knows, just like we know, if we not fans and not like acting like homers, that there's a standard that you got to play to be a real contender in this league, playoffs and all that different stuff. And I think that's one of our struggles, is meeting that standard every week. Like, I think the offense, like last week, they looked pretty good, but then like they'll drop off the next week, or they might just completely lay an egg, and the defense have to do it. So I'm hoping that eventually consistency comes, but that's on the team, and I mean, and the coaches, to be honest. Especially Nick Caley.
Yeah, I disagree kind of with what you said. I definitely want Nick Caley to leave. We definitely need a different offensive coordinator. Just because we start winning these games, they try to sweep it on the road like everything is fixed. He's been a problem. He still needs to go. So that's the first thing that needs to happen in the offseason, as well as getting the O-line to continue to protect CJ. And but with the offense, I just feel like this week, I've been saying all with this, I feel like this was a trap game for us, and I feel like it looked like that. So the offense and the defense, I feel like the defense was off a little bit this game as well after they had the pick six. We kind of like let Genty run all over the play. We wasn't wrapping up, wasn't finishing. I feel like they wasn't as focused, but we still managed to get the win. So that's always good. But with CJ, I feel like I've seen enough with CJ that I'm confident in CJ in the playoffs. He just does what needs to be done. Like, he's not making no bad mistakes, as we saw at the beginning of the season where he bonehead interceptions, I feel like he's making the right decision. Nico getting high, he's doing what he does. We have some people on the podcast, that feels another way about Nico. But he's definitely a top 7 wide receiver in this league. But that's a different conversation for another day. But I definitely think the offense in the playoffs, they'll figure it out. I'm confident in CJ.
All right, y'all. Welcome to the World of Sports podcast, man. We in our second segment where we talking about the offensive and defensive rookie of the year. It's a lot of good play from the rookies this year, but only 2 people gonna come away with that award. So, John, who you think gonna come away with it, man?
Man, for offensive, I gotta go with my guy Tyler Shuck, man. Ed over there shaking his head. And boy, I've never seen somebody hate this thing so much, bro. It's crazy. But yeah, I go with Tyler Shuck, bro. He's leading all rookie quarterback in wins. Unlike somebody I know should do it. He doing his thing. He leading us to wins. I can only imagine what it would have been like, if we started him the whole season, bro. He really been hooping. He really been finding ways to win games for us. He just got Kellen Moore's doing a good job with him as far as the game plan. He's making great decisions with the ball. I would like to see him cut back on the interceptions just a tad bit, but I mean, I understand that him being a young quarterback, he's gonna take some of these risks. But I really do think he could be the quarterback of the future for us. So I like how that's been going this season. I think he won four games? Yeah, 4 games I think with him. So I like him. And on the defensive side of the ball, man, I'm going with Nick Emanwari, man, safety from the Seahawks, bro. I just like the way he played. He's been playing great ball this year. So good that people didn't even realize he was a rookie. On his podcast, some people, but he's been playing great ball. I like the tenacity that he played with, and I got it. If I had a pick, that would be my two rookie of the years right there. I'm gonna throw it to Eddie, and I'm gonna just trash everybody he talked about. So
you said a lot there, buddy. With the offensive side, you said with Shador, and then you said with Tyler. So imagine if he was playing a whole.
Hey, man, he done this 2 weeks in a row. We gotta get on him. The man's name is Tyler Shuck. Say Shuck.
Tyler City. That sounds even more fitting. But he said that if Tyler Show was starting the whole season, you wouldn't know where he is. But you heard what Shador said. Only imagine if he had a whole off season to play with these guys. Imagine what that would be. That would for sure be better.
I'm not trying to hear that, man.
You don't want 4 games? That's crazy.
He had won 4 games. He been starting for 4 weeks.
Shador already
He been starting for 4 weeks. He ain't win.
Hey, this is my segment.
And he got the better defense.
Listen. For offensive rookie of the year, we got a lot of guys, a lot of my guys on the list. You got my boy Ted, you got Travion Henderson, you got Quinshon Judkins, you got Ibuka. Me personally, that Ibuka he had a crazy start, but he did cool off. He ain't fell off. Relax. He just cooled off in that offense. They had a lot going on, and they start keying in on him. But he will be a great receiver in this league. Another Ohio State great that he will have a great future. But I'm gonna go with Ted. Ted's been hooping. Bryce. Shout out to Bryce getting him the ball. Let him continue getting the ball if they want to do something in the playoffs. For defense, John had a great pick. But I'm gonna have to go with the boy Shador teammate, Carson Swarnger. He is one of the I think if not the leading tackler in the league. What y'all laughing for, bro?
Hey man, you and these names, boy, it's killing you today, boy. Go ahead, though.
Hey man, listen. My dad always said, "Don't charge to my heart, man. Charge to the game, man." But Carson, that's cool. We say Carson. But Carson, man, he hooping, bro. So definitely want to give him his flowers, and I think he definitely is shooing for the rookie of the year for defense.
Yeah, man, those good picks by y'all, man. Eddie kind of did a roundabout thing, but all of the names he mentioned was good names, though. So shout out to that. My first pick is kind of gonna be a homer pick, but I'm gonna pick Woody Marks, man. He's been a workhorse this year. If it wasn't for him, our run game would be pretty dead, except for these times that we brought in Jawar Jordan. But other than that, man, he's been working his tail off. It seemed like every game he go out for like a couple plays because he's just taking a beating. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him, and his production has been good and giving us that spark. And on the defensive side, I'm gonna go with the Michigan man, Mason Graham. Man, I feel like on the Cleveland team, everybody want to talk about Shador. Everybody want to talk about all this different stuff. But it's a reason why he's still in these games when he's not playing good some days, and that's because the defense has been doing good things. And even alongside Myles Garrett, I'm sure there's been knowledge that he's been passing on. I'm sure that that has helped his game a bit, and I think he would be a good pick for the defensive rookie of the year, man. So shout out to those two boys, man.
And it's crazy because it's 2 rookie of the year candidates on one team.
All right, see,
that's crazy. What, bro? Answer nothing about Shador.
All right, yeah, you're right.
Oh, actually, it's 3. I forgot. That's 3. I think y'all do, bro.
Ain't close.
Because if Shador would have played the whole season, he definitely would have been.
They'd have been at the same position.
Why are we not talking about the number 1 pick though?
Who? Can't work because they record. You see their record? They won 2 games.
It's crazy.
And as a player, you can't win 2 games. And
no, I'm not saying that we should be talking about. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, it is crazy that But I mean, the Titans are just a dumpster fire right now. They don't even have a head coach, bro. They fired their head coach, so
yeah.
I mean,
they won this week though. They beat them Kansas City Chiefs, boy. Yes, sir.
We got coming up. Tyler Shuck.
Hey, that's gonna be a good game. Don't let them beat them. Don't let
And
him
bro,
beat you.
You better hope Cam Ward don't beat y'all,
bro,
boy.
you better hold Tyler
We
Shough.
talk about that. If
All
they
right, all
beat
right,
y'all, we talking about that.
all
That's our
right,
first
all right,
subject. We not
all
doing
right.
Monday Night Football first. We doing Cam Ward beat Tyler Show. Let's do it.
And then what?
Do
And if we win, you
it.
gonna put some respect on my
Let's
dog
do
name.
it.
If you win, you gonna put some respect on my dog name.
Tyler Show. Let's do it.
All right, moving on to the next topic, man. Well. The dumpster fire that was the college football playoff first round, except for maybe one game that was pretty decent. We had Alabama coming away with the comeback victory, surprising comeback victory against Oklahoma. We had Oregon handling business against JMU, and we had Ole Miss handling business against Tulane. And am I missing anyone, or is that?
A&M, Miami.
Oh, and A&M and Miami was a barn burner, but it was a good game towards the end. But
It was good.
Miami comes away with the victory. What were your thoughts on college football playoff round one?
I'm gonna just go ahead and say, me and Eddie 1-1 on predictions, because he predicted that Alabama was gonna win. I said Oklahoma, but he also said Texas A&M was gonna win. And I told him Miami was gonna go handle business. Just from the first game that I mentioned, Oklahoma and Alabama, man. Oklahoma, they had it. Like they came out the gates, they were on fire. They went up 17-0, and then you know, uh Alabama went down, they scored, they got a little bit of momentum, and they just kept chipping away. And then once Mateer threw that pick six to Xavier Brown, that kind of flipped the game on his head, and it was tied 17-17 going in the half. And then Oklahoma just wasn't the same team after that, man. So I think that that was a good game. Momentum just flipped in an instant. The Tide has not lost back-to-back game. I mean, to the same opponent twice in one season since like the 1800, like 1870 something. So that's kind of to be expected. I think that them getting that win kind of helped them keep Kalen DeBoer from going to Michigan, because I do feel like if they'd have lost that game, he would have found his way out of Alabama and tried to get to Michigan. But I think he's going to stay put where he's at now that they're going on to the second round. But to be honest, the Miami and Texas A&M game went about as good as I thought. Like I knew Marcel Reed was gonna come up small in that game, bro. Like he just made some questionable decisions. To be honest, and this was my whole thought process watching that whole game, bro. Like Marcel Reed plays exactly like his college football character, bro. Like the accuracy issue, it's the accuracy issues, bro. Like he got to get better at passing the ball. He's a great runner. He can, escape the pocket and make something happen with his legs when he needs to. But that's only gonna get you so far, especially when the game, you got to go down and win the game for your team. And they got bailed out by putting it on that last drive that kind of helped them out with field position, and they got to the red zone and it kind of all collapsed for him because he was just late throwing the ball. The accuracy wasn't there, and he caught a pick. Ole Miss and Tulane went as expected. Just breaks off them. Tulane really never had a chance in that game. And honestly, I feel like the JMU and Oregon game didn't go the way that a lot of people thought. Like JMU actually hung in there with them a little bit. Oregon jumped out on them early. I ain't gonna lie, Oregon was doing what they wanted to at the beginning of that game, bro. Like I think Oregon, like the first 4 or 5 possessions, Oregon went down and scored touchdowns in like four or five play drives, bro. Like it was crazy to see how explosive they was to begin that game. And then JMU stayed in it and they fought, and I think they only ended up losing by 16 points, which is good for them, being that they're a Sun Belt team going up against one of the best teams in the country. So to be honest, quarterfinal predictions. I want to pick Oregon against Texas Tech, but I feel like they're gonna have to play better in order for to win that game. I think that I'm gonna get a nod to Ohio State. I feel like Ohio State gonna win that. I feel like Georgia gonna beat Ole Miss, and I would say Indiana's gonna come out against Alabama, but I do think it's gonna be a close game. I wouldn't be surprised if Alabama wins that, but for right now, I'm gonna go with Indiana to win that game in a close one. So that's how I feel about it.
That's a lot. A few points you put on with like I'll start with Tulane. You know, we got some Tulane lovers on the thing that was delusional and said that this would have been a good game. One reckon that said I said they was gonna lose by 30 and they did. At 31 to be exact. Shout out to them boys for their season though. They had a hell of a run. Um, but like I told you, I ain't want this coach Summerall just for the from the simple reason he ain't played. You know this level of competition, and he doing that if he comes to the SEC. You go see that every week, so I don't think he's ready for that. But,
Better players though.
I understand. I get it, I guess. But shout out to them. Alabama, I feel like Vegas made that call because Oklahoma came out there swinging. But then I just feel like that was bad coaching, bro. Like I understand like Materials is a runner. He's not a great thrower, but you gotta pick your poison, bro. Like we saw what was working, right? And they only stuck with that. After Alabama made the adjustments, they did not adjust, and that's what I didn't like to see because like even I knew they was gonna do QB draw on every third down, bro. Like so if I know that, you don't think the coaches know that and the players know it's coming every time, bro. It's like just make adjustments, bro. They missed a couple plays. He missed a touchdown throw. They had a lot of drops, but Oklahoma they got the game away, and I had Oklahoma on my bracket, but I knew Alabama was gonna win. I was just hoping Alabama lose. We LSU fans over here. We don't want to see Alabama do good at all. Now, John, with Oregon, I definitely think they let off the gas, and this was not a close game. They just made it look good. And James Madison, they showed a little bit of heart. They didn't want to go out like that, so they just had to make namesake. But I was very, very disappointed with Texas A&M, bro. That was one of my teams I picked to go on further. He's not like that, John. He just so excited to see that. He hates Texas A&M, bro. I was very disappointed. They have a great offense, and then they did not show up on Saturday, bro. So I was very disappointed with that. But you got Ohio State, man. So I'm gonna ride with them boys for sure. Hopefully, I want to see Texas. I want to see one of my Texas teams make it though. So I want Texas Tech to beat Oregon. I don't think they will, but I hope. I want to see it. That would be lovely to see some Texas representation. Our little arch couldn't get it done. But Ole Miss, I wouldn't count them out, bro. Y'all just think Alabama, not that who they play by for, not Alabama.
Georgia gonna beat the sleep.
Georgia. Y'all think Georgia, Gunnar Stockton, he cool, but their defense they really hanging their head on. I don't think Gunnar Stockton is incredible.
Georgia know their identity though. They know their identity. They ain't going. They know what they got at quarterback. They're not going to wow you. They're going to run the football down your throat, and they're going to play good defense. They're going to put you in the box, and that's how they go in that game. But they put up points when need be though. Like the last game against Ole Miss, I think it was like 41-33 or something like that. So like they put up points when need be. I think I really think all these quarterfinal games are going to be good games. Honestly.
I hope because this first round wasn't nothing. The Oklahoma and Alabama game was the best game out of all of these, in my opinion, and we saw how that went. So, hopefully we get way better games, and I got Ohio State for sure.
Hey, boy, how about the plane that said they got Texas A&M score that said 3-9?
I swear, bro. I'm like, bro, this is gonna be a good game. I got on the plane watching like a little bit before I got on the plane, and then I got up. I said, dang, my phone ain't updated something the same scope. I was upset, bro.
Hey, man, y'all gave great points. I'm gonna stick to the predictions on this one. I would probably say out of Alabama and Indiana, I think Indiana wins that game. Then moving forward, Texas Tech, Oregon. I think Oregon will win that game. Miami versus Ohio State. I'll give it to Ohio State. And Ole Miss versus Georgia. That's gonna be a good one. And man, I'm gonna go Ole Miss. I want to see. I think they playing with a point to prove, and them coming out handling business against Tulane. That didn't prove to me anything, but it did show me that they beat them by almost that same amount of points with or without Lane. So, hey, why not make a statement and go do it against Georgia? Why not?
Georgia my pick to win it all though, so I can't go against. So.
Cool, bro. All right, y'all. It's time for the best part of the show with the Black Spotlight. This week I'll kick it off. Showing some love to the black women. My Black Spotlight is Hannah Hidalgo, one of the best players in the on the women's side in college. So want to give her flowers. She always been like a little pit bull. They love talking about how she like 5'6" and she feel like the biggest player on the court at times. So this last week she had the triple double, but not a regular triple double. She had 13 steals, bro. When the last time we seen that happen, bro? That's crazy, bro. 13 steals. That just shows you like how she is on defense side, how much of a dog she is, bro. So I just definitely she stood out to me this week. Even though we know the caliber of player she is, that definitely turned a lot of people's heads this week. So shout out to Hannah her dog, man. Keep hooping, keep doing your thing, man, for sure. John, who you got?
All right, man. Yeah, shout out to her, bro. She definitely a menace on the defensive end. I always see her in the news for racking up steals. But man, this week I'm going with my tight end for the New Orleans Saints, Jawan Johnson. As you can see, I'm happy that we playing good ball because I'm shouting out all these players. But yeah, shout out to him, bro. They gave him a contract extension at the beginning of the year, and I didn't really feel like he was worth it. But ever since Chuck came in, he's been playing great ball. They got a great chemistry, and I feel like he's finally living up to that contract extension that he had. So I would just want to say shout out to him. Hope he keep balling, and that's my black spotlight for the week.
Yeah, man, those are good black spotlights y'all chose this week, man. My black spotlight is a Houston Texans player. Got his first pick six in his NFL career. Actually, his first pick six since high school. And that would be Derek Stingley Jr., man, coming up big for the Texans in a day that we really needed some points. He's all pro for a reason. If not one, which I believe he is one, he's tied with one with Pat Surtain. So shout out to him, man. And that's my black spotlight for the week. Love to see LSU players doing good in the league, NFL LSU.
That's probably one of the best spotlights you ever had, Bryce, man. But he's definitely number one for sure. No debate.
I'll give him that. But yeah, man, that's all we got for y'all today, man. Like we always say, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, bro. And if you follow us on socials, we're gonna keep y'all updated with everything that we got going on with the podcast, man. We appreciate y'all for always watching. And until next time, we hope that y'all have a Merry Christmas and stay blessed, man. Appreciate y'all for watching once again. We out.
Yes, sir.